If you've been around long enough, you might remember a local restaurant and watering hole outside Taos called the Old Blinking Light. We're talking about a different blinking light this week, and I doubt it's on anyone's list of New Mexico favorites. This blinking light is on the instrument cluster of Virgin Galactic spaceship Unity, and it tells pilots when they're in danger of flying an arc that's too shallow to keep them on a course to land at Spaceport America. Now, as first reported by the New Yorker magazine, it flashed during the July 11th flight with Richard Branson aboard. Now the FAA is investigating the flight and has grounded the ship, the VSS Unity. That was a popular topic in our weekly viewer poll, by the way. Our line opinion panel is here to figure out just how big this is or might be for space tourism and for the company. Line regular, former State Senator Diane Snyder returns to our panel. Good to have you back. Her former colleague in the state Senate and progressive strategist Eric Griego takes another turn with us. And for the Santa Fe Reporter, newspaper editor and publisher Julianne Grimm once more. Now, Julianne, how does this strike you? As a, sort of a how the mighty have fallen story, or maybe just more as just another hiccup in an inherently tricky endeavor? Is it one or the other, in the middle? How do you see this?
Well, you mentioned the New Yorker piece, which I think is really important. This journalist, Nicholas Schmidl, I think is how he says his name. He's just recently published a book about Virgin Galactic. It came out in the spring, and he talks about how he sees a disconnect between the company's lofty rhetoric and its supersonic risks. And I think that's a really good way, to phrase it. Obviously, he's put the thought and the time into studying this company, but here you've got a little bit of a suspicious timeline. Last month, the company says, we're going to ground ourselves because we really want to work on making this better and speedier, only to learn a month later the FAA is grounding you. And so I'm a bit suspicious about that. And I think that, the nature of this commercialization means that there's kind of this combination of entertainment and marketing and really slick packaging. And I think it does kind of get in the way of a little bit of a harder look at this emerging industry.
Hey, Eric, when you think about this, it's so interesting. Virgin Galactic says no one was in danger. But then the FAA is looking into it. It's either one or the other, it seems to me. What's your gut feeling on this?
Well, the industry's been led by some sort of entrepreneurs, cowboys. If you think about who's trying to drive this sort of next big leap, Elon Musk and Bezos and Sir Richard Branson. These are folks whose whole brand is being, sort of these cutting edge, kind of pioneers and stuff. I will say that, full disclosure, I was working for Governor Richardson when we got this literally off the ground, and so any blame or whatever, so I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I have to say I wasn't overly enthusiastic, but I was a good soldier. But along the way, and I know Senator Snyder can probably speak to this too, along the way we were asked to not only invest enormous amounts of money for New Mexico, $220 million. Local communities were asked to invest, but the most important thing relevant to this safety issue is we were asked to exempt every manufacturer, anybody involved in the process, from any kind of liability.
That's right.
And
they really pushed hard for that, didn't they?
I voted against it, and I was roasted by the industry, and and the whole idea was this myth that if you don't do everything, cut corners, exempt liability, invest millions of dollars, that you're going to lose this industry. And I just think that's a kind of a theme that echoes in states like ours, where we're looking for something big to change our economy. And we were hoping that this, figuratively and literally would do it, right? Would lift us off. But I think the FAA's just sort of said, wait a minute, take a breath here, right? I know you guys really want this, but you got to be safe. It's not okay to have 1.4% of people who've been on these flights be fatalities. That's not sustainable, right? And the other thing is just, the billionaire, this billionaire boondoggle. I hope it's successful. I hope it provides economic development that it says it'll provide. If you look at the research, it's, Chris Erickson over at New Mexico State did a great study about, the verdict is out if it's really going to be worth all the money we're putting into it. But besides the money and the economic development, I think the more fundamental question is it safe, right? And I think that's where the FAA is really about. Like, you want to make lots of money, good on you, but you got to make sure people are safe. That's Even billionaires who go up got to be safe. Right?
Good points there. Senator Snyder, not that anyone's crying over, the perhaps agonizing decision for people who can afford the now $450,000 ticket, by the way, but no one wants to see anyone get hurt. And this has real implications for Virgin Galactic's business plan, I would think, doesn't it?
I think so, but
Yeah.
the thing that, a couple of observations. One is things like this happened back when we were first going into space. Sometimes mistakes were corrected and everything went on great. Sometimes mistakes killed people, as we know so I'm hoping, because I was, as Senator Griego said, I was one of the supporters in the Senate. Not the liability, but for us investing money in the space industry. And I hope this is something that can simply be corrected. But I do think, yes, their stock dropped tremendously in value. So I think it really does impact their business plan. But one other thing, I did do some reading on the gentleman from the New Yorker, and it seems to me that he's just a tiny bit biased against the company. So I also take that with a grain of salt. I'm looking forward to hearing the FAA hopefully come out with a clearance that it was simply a mistake, an oversight that can be fixed. Because as you said, we seriously do not want anyone harmed.
Right.
But this is still we've seen great growth around the industry itself. And funniest thing is we never get much media coverage of the small companies that are doing business around the space industry and space tourism. So I'm hoping that for New Mexico and our money we've invested, that it is something that was minor, can be corrected, and we can go forward with growing an industry in New Mexico.
Good point there. Julia, let me read you in part what the FAA had to say here. Quote, Virgin Galactic may not return the Spaceship Two vehicle to flight until the FAA approves the final mishap investigation report or determines the issues related to the mishap do not affect public safety. And I have to wonder, I read that out here to say this. Virgin Galactic didn't exactly initially report this red light to the FAA. And I gotta wonder if that's part and parcel with the FAA's annoyance here, so to speak, to use that word in a flip way. That, if they had maybe worked with the FAA a little bit closer, maybe it wouldn't have come down quite so harsh. I'm guessing here, I'm interested in your thoughts on this.
So I did a little bit of number crunching myself, based on what the FAA has said. They've said that this ship was out of its designated airspace for 1 minute and 40 seconds on a 15-minute flight. So that's about 11% of the time. So the question is, can this spaceship stay in its lane? Can it safely interact with other air traffic and, whatever else is going on up there above our heads? And I don't know, if you're on a road trip and you spend 11% of the time driving in the wrong lane, does that put it in different perspective? I mean, I'm certainly not an expert on the technicalities of how the FAA is reviewing this.
Sure.
But I do think it's something that people are going to be watching closely. And really what this does is, right now it delays the flight of, 4 months past, the initial time that Virgin Galactic said it was going to south ground. And so I think, we'll be watching to see how much of a delay really results, from this, how long until they do some more testing. They do have one more test flight that's going up, I believe, for the Italian Air Force. Is that
that's right,
still
again.
happening?
That's right. I wonder. That's a good point there.